Okay. Thank you. Thank you for having me this afternoon. Or this evening is always weird for me because in Spain this is only afternoon and there is no difference between afternoon and evening, you know. So just a little clarification. I worked for Firefox OS. Now, as probably you know, Firefox OS is dead. And now I'm working in the DevRel team, but I used to work in the Firefox OS team. So for me, when I was working there, I'm working with this HTML5 based operating system. It's like a remember, because now a lot of technologies relate with this are trying to behave like native application, and that is something that we try to do in Firefox OS. Let me use some of my examples. Doesn't work in Chrome, or they only work in Safari, but you know. So let me open. Oh, what happened? Okay, but you don't know it. Don't see it? Ah, here. I don't know why I don't. Oh, I think I'm sharing the wrong screen. Yes. Okay, no problem. I can continue here. Okay, no problem. Don't worry. Don't worry. No, it's okay. No problem. Okay, so I'm going to talk about, I have here a lot of stuff, but in order to make this more collaborative, what I'm going to do is to share with you some posits, and you are going to write two words or two topics to talk about. And this is a different session because it doesn't consist in a talk part followed by a Q&A part. It's Q&A all the time, and you can interrupt me, and I will need your feedback all the time, starting now. So we are going to share with you some posits, and you will write them. What do you think the web platform is missing compared with the native platforms? Okay, so when you try to think about when you use a web application, and then you miss something that native application has. It can be, it's not only a matter of features, okay? It can be, for instance, performance. It is harder to log in a web application rather than in a native application. That could be also, okay? And then I'm going to show you 3 indexes. Okay, I split them and now they are 6. But here you will see, oh, what happened? It has, I think it has a delay because I'm changing this and that is not changing. So I don't know what. No. This one?
I don't understand what that is.
Oh, sorry. Fix the video. It's a.
Yeah, maybe you need to select this.
Oh.
Select the screen you want to share.
It's not here, I think. because it's not. Mm. Okay. Okay. Yes. It's working? Hey, okay, it's working. Okay, it was freeze. So these are established technologies. You have a little description below each topic. These are more established technologies. When I talk about established technologies, it's something that we have in at least two of the main browsers out there. Okay, it's not something related to only one browser. It's something that has been there for a long time, or perhaps has been there for a not so long time, but you probably don't know, or something like that. I don't mind if you already know the topic. If you want to know more, you can write it down, okay? Then I have another index about pattern, trends, and topics.
Sorry, can you repeat what they are?
Yes, let me finish this, and I'll repeat. And finally, there is another index about technologies that will be here shortly. So what I need you to do is, in one of the side of the post-it, put something you think that the web is missing or web apps are missing compared to native apps. And in the other side, I want you, because you are a lot of people, I want you to choose one term, one topic, write it, and then we group them and we discuss those most voted topics. Okay? Oh, please, if you can annotate what is the first question. The first question with a one, you know. The first question is what the web platform is missing compared with the native platform, or web apps versus native apps. You can put a one, a point, something like that, some mark.
And if you have any questions, let me know. I'll just throw this.
Yes, if you don't know,
microphone over there to you.
I'm going to. When you are done with the first question, we can go through the index again. And if you need clarification about some topic, just ask me. Okay.
I see. Okay. Well, I don't have answer.
Who is done with the first question?
Okay.
Hands up, please. Okay. I'm going to pass through the several indexes, okay? When I reach the last one, I go back and then we can start, okay? I'll ask you for getting all the posits. Okay, this is the first page. Established technology, something we already have in the web platform. These are patterns, trends, topics. They are not technologies by themselves. They are more than groups of technologies. Or when you choose some of them, I usually talk about a set of technologies around it. Okay. And these are coming soon technologies. I hope to be able to move some of them for this talk, some of them to the first index, but not yet. So for these technologies, they are commitment, but they are not supported in every browser right now. Well, not in every browser, but not even in 2 of the browsers, of the major browsers. Of course, this is an error. It's inside the browser. I'm going back. Okay, so let's, yes. Perhaps you can pass your POSIT to the left, for instance, so it's more easy. Just one POSIT, please. Because this is the first time I have so many people in the same room playing this, playing this little game. Usually I ask the people to write 3 terms, you know, 1 per each index, but cool, thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to start reading the terms you are worried about. I'm going to start with the first question. What the web platform is missing compared with the native platform? Whoa. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's perfect. A lot of information here. Yes. I think I'm going to use that table to solve them. Okay. The next time, I think I'm going to prepare a web form or something like that. Security. Ability to work offline, one of my favorites. It always show up. Graphic, 3D graphic performance. Push notification, another one of my favorites, because I have a complete talk only for that. Missing proper storage. Perhaps in-depth payment request. performance, a lot of things in only one POSIT. Native can work offline, high performance, performance offline, those are the typical. Performance, performance and compatibility. Performance again. Service workers. Centralized market. Really? Do you think that the web will be better if we implement a centralized market? No, just to think about. Performance is the winner today. This is kind of UI problem. Performance again, whoa. Offline and performance. Real time. Installable apps. Offline. Nothing missing. This rocks. Performance. It's the second time I found one of these of anything is missing. Perfect. Web apps is out. Discoverability. Very interesting one. Offline first. Oh, this is a topic. Offline capabilities. Native UI. Native UI. Performance. Okay. It's clear we are going to talk about performance. Security. I love this one. Offline mode on iOS. GPU intensive tasks. Let's say performance. But we will dedicate a special chapter to GPU, to 3D graphics. Notifications. File system access. Native authentication. Really interesting. Offline capabilities again. Performance. Wow. Offline storage. Oh, that's quite interesting. It's ability. Oh, I thought it was ability to control the garbage collector. Okay, those are technologies. A lot of posits. Okay, so I think we are going to talk about performance. Okay, what are your main concerns about performance? What kind of performance are you referring to? I suppose it is related to animation performance, but perhaps you are referring to other performance models. So can someone that wrote performance in their POSIT to clarify me, please? There are a lot of performance POSIT there. If not, I'm going to invent my own questions. Okay, there. Okay. Okay, let's start there. Perfect. There's a pattern here, which is Where is it? Hey. This one. This is a model developed by Google that say what times or what deadlines do you need to meet in order to keep the illusion of real time. So it is abbreviated RAIL, and it stands for response, react in less than 100 milliseconds to feel instant, okay? Animation, and we can talk about this later, keep 60 frames per second. Idle, maximize idle time. So try to, in a frame, try to make the idle time to be as long as possible. And load, which means go interactive in less than a second. It doesn't matter if the page is not completely loaded, but please allow your users to do something in less than a second. Okay. Well, the main problem with performance in JavaScript is that we need, if we are animating things, we need to keep animation frame rate in 60 frames per second. But the problem is that we don't have threads in JavaScript, threads that can communicate or that can modify the document object model, because we have workers, but well, they don't apply here. But actually that's a point for optimization. If we are animating things, we need to keep this 60 frames per second. Let's see how is the shape or the form of a frame. I have this here. This is the typical. This is from Pixie.js. You know Pixie.js. It's a 2D graphic library, and this is a frame recorded in the Pixie.js index page, which contains a huge animation in the top of the page. And this is the recorded. These are the recorded things, the performance snapshot for one frame. This is, oh, there's a little bit delay. This is scripting, and this is all that happens inside the request animation frame. How many of you know about request animation frame? Hands up. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. Let's say this is JavaScript. This is your JavaScript. These are tasks related to the browser, like the garbage collector, for instance. This is the layout. This is when you alter the layout of a web page, there is a recalculation. So this is the time that the browser spent doing that recalculation. And this is painting the actual view of the browser. Okay. The problem is that there is only 1.4 milliseconds of idle time. If you don't meet this deadline, this 60 millisecond deadline, you are going to fall under 60 frames per second. And let me show another graphic. This graphic shows the average frame rate. I don't remember how much time is this. This is one frame also. But this is the complete, actually this is this frame. And you can see all the timeline here, and only these peaks are 60 frames per second. All the rest is not 60 frames per second. And here you will notice, if you were interacting with this web page, you will be noticing a lot of lag, okay? Because perhaps it's, you see, 3 frames per second. Okay, total disaster. So what's happening here? The usual performance bottleneck happens when you have a lot of tasks and you try to do it in only one step in your as the answer for some user interaction. What we can do to maximize the illusion of real time is to answer the user and then delay the task, because the user needs to feel they have been listened, but the operation don't need to be immediate. So we can split our activity into several chunks and try to share those chunks in several frames. So we always meet the 60 frames per second. But here is another question: how do we know when there is an idle window? Well, we have a technology for that, and it's called request idle callback. Is this? So request idle callback allow you to ask for some idle time, and when your function is similar to request animation frame, or is similar to set timeout, but in set timeout you instruct the browser to do your job in the next cycle, in the next tick. But with request idle time, the browser will seek for a idle window and then call your function with a time parameter, and that time parameter is actually the length, the duration of your window. Okay, so you can perform a heavy task in those small chunks, but then you can probably perhaps your activity is very long, or perhaps your activity you want to take care of parallelism or something like that. Then another interesting approach is to move your heavy computations into a separated thread with a worker. That's for computations. Okay, let's talk about animations, for instance. There are a couple of types of animations. First, there are compositor animations. Okay, compositor animations are those that, well, do you remember the layout composition of the frame? I'm going to show you again. All here, this one. All the composition in a browser happen is a task of ordering boxes. Okay, boxes in different layers according to display and position CSS properties. Okay, and all are boxes. Okay, when you modify or even read some properties of your objects, you are forcing the browser to recalculate these boxes. Okay. For instance, when you move the X, imagine size, width, and height. Imagine you have two paragraphs and a picture inside, in the middle, and then you resize this picture to be bigger. If you resize its width and height, you will see that the paragraphs are actually will separate from each other. Okay. This happens because you are modifying the box, and the box is pushing up and pushing down the paragraphs around it. But there is another technique. If you don't mind the paragraphs stay in their place, and this kind of animations are called compositor animations. So they are animations that happen without modifying the layout. They happen. So you will see how your image gets bigger, but the paragraphs won't move because the layout won't be modified, okay? But it can be that as you saw, the painting is something relevant also. And what happens if you need to paint a lot of times that you probably won't meet the 60 millisecond deadline, okay? Because probably you modify some compositor. You are not modifying the layout, okay, but you are modifying the picture. So the picture is growing. You need to paint it. The picture is again growing, so you need to repaint it. And if you are not careful, you can trigger more repaints. So what you need to do is to some way say the browser that you are doing an animation. So the browser has several queues for different tasks, and one of them is to actually animate, to prepare for a paint. So at the end of the frame, because the browser is trying to paint the web page 60 frames per second, 60 times. So it is going, at the end of the frame, it is going to paint. So to paint, you need to not force more paintings that you need. You need to say something like, okay, enqueue my animation related callbacks before you paint, just before you paint. And that is done with request animation frame, okay? So request animation frame and a callback, put your callback just before painting, okay? Okay, so if you put your animations in this queue, you will avoid some of the layouts, re-layouts and repaintings. Okay, but there is a new API. This one, animate. This is the kind of things you are doing. How many of you have used CSS animations? Hands up. Okay, mostly everyone. CSS animations do this. As you declare these animations, you are telling the browser that they are animating and they are modifying, probably they are modifying the layout, so the browser knows where to put this interpolating task to actually move the object. When you combine with this new API, this is only the box. So you extract you query the document for the element, and then call animate, and you use a very similar to the CSS animation API. So instead of putting the offset outside the object, you need to put the offset inside. I omitted it here because it only consists of two. So when there are only two, the first is the 0 offset, the beginning of the animation, and the second is the 100%. So it's the end of the animation from 2. But you can add offset and a percentage with actually the offset of the animation. And this is the part of the transition actually, and this is the animation part. You have worked with CSS, you will recognize the syntax. Well, with this, we are informing the browser that we want to animate. Some of you perhaps are wondering why do we need a JavaScript API to do this, and that is because from time to time we don't know the CSS value in advance. So we need to compute them and then put somehow inside an animation. This is the programmatic API for the CSS web animation, and is using actually the same mechanism.
Is there a way to point into that animation to get progress and
Start and end are possible. Progress, I think no, but I'm not sure. I will check. Okay, so what's happening here? Here we have the combination of two. Actually, well, since this is the live, you see that both animation goes wrong, but it's not wrong. Okay, it's smooth and not smooth. Okay. What's happening here? I think the left one is using TwinMax, which is a twinning library, and the right one is using the animation API. What is happening is that the page has a task losing time, emulating the garbage collector, because this is so simple that any object is being created or destroyed. So there are no actual, the garbage collector is not actually doing anything here. Okay, so it is emulating that task. Just is a loop, okay, and it checks performance now compared with the moment it started, and when it has lost, I don't know, 100 milliseconds, then it reschedule itself for the next 50 milliseconds. Okay, so this way it is emulating the garbage collector. So the left one is using a twinning library, and the right one is using the native twinning mechanism from the browser. What happened is that the left one is using request animation frame, but it can. The problem is that it is possible that for the even if using request animation frame, it is possible for the garbage collector to pass before the queue of request animation frame callbacks is being processed, and it delay the processment of this queue. So what happened is that we are missing the 60 millisecond deadline. Okay, but since this kind of animation is a transform, this can happen in another thread, in the compositor thread. And when we tell the browser we are animating, it is trying to perform a first optimization. And when it detects that we are actually transforming, then it is able to do another kind of optimization. And this optimization is that it can put the transformation in another frame, in another thread. Okay, so the right animation is smooth and the left one is not, because the right one is not competing with the garbage collector emulation function, and the left one is doing. Okay, is this clear? Okay, so for animation, you can do this. And actually there is one guy, his Twitter is Aerotwist. I don't know if you know him, but he's performance engineer in Google. I recommend you to follow him because he has a lot of advices about how to be fast. Even so, talking about extreme performance, I don't know if you remember the case with Flipboard. How many of you use Flipboard or know what I'm referring with the flip effect of Flipboard? Okay. The flip effect of Flipboard is that when you explore Flipboard is a news aggregator. So when you explore the news and you slide down one new, it is flipping the top part, the top half is flipping, keeping the content, you know, like a 3D transformation. And then the former content is in the bottom side, and the new content appears here and here. Okay. This is almost, I think, I don't know how to do this in CSS. Probably someone did in CodePen, but I don't know. And they didn't know. So they re-implemented all the effect inside a 3D context in WebGL. Okay. Of course, for me, this is okay. It's a pretty solution, but it is totally over-engineered. Okay. Because re-implementing a part of the of what the browser does inside Open WebGL in this case, well, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. We have an expression for that in Spanish, but I don't know the equivalence in English. But it's to kill flies with a cannon. Okay. And if you want more, even more performance, well, you can re-implement the layout system in WebGL, but you can also wait for the new engine of Firefox, of Mozilla, which is called it is integrated in Servo. I don't remember now the name of the layout system, but I will remember. Well, more on performance, please. Do you want to know more on performance? Can we switch to offline? Okay. Sorry.
Twinning? Yeah, on your test, I'm not sure on the twinning library you're using. It's like a green sock or anything like of the usual animation libraries that we have at the moment. But yeah, I just want to know, like, based on your tests, and which one was the smoother test, using the native or the actual twinning library?
The native. This is using the library, and this is using the native mechanisms.
But which library are you using?
I think it's TwinMax.
Okay.
I don't remember, but you can explore. I will tweet the presentation, and you can check the source. Okay, and I think it is explained here. Okay, so this presentation has a lot of links for you to go deeper in each topic. Okay. Okay. Sorry.
Memory limitations when I run within a browser, because it's different from a native system, a native application. I can control it there, but in the browsers, maybe limited.
Yes, I'm not an expert there, but yes, there are memory limitations, and there are ways to optimize your graphics for a specific situation. I'm going to share another resource from a talk in Spain that precisely talk about all related with the animation machinery of Chrome, and how to use developer tools in Chrome to explore how to minimize the number of layers used to, because a new layer is more memory, the number of layers involved in animation, and also to see how much memory takes your animation take. Well, it depends a lot of the architecture of the browser, and well, of course, there are limits, but I don't remember if you, I don't know if you remember when I'm trying to remember a very big application, and I was thinking of, do you remember the Citadel demo from, okay, so Unreal, I think 4 years ago, released a demo of their Citadel demo, the Technic demo, inside Gecko and inside Chrome also, comparing the performance because they were using ASM.js. And the amount of textures and polygons and effects were huge, and it didn't crash. Actually, it performed very well because we were showing ASM.js, and all the demo was compiled for ASM.js. I don't know if you know what it is. How many of you know about ASM.js? Okay, ASM.js was a subset of JavaScript, very, very, very easy to optimize. So it was very, very, very fast. But I remember that when you were playing the demo, it asked you, do you want to expand the file storage? But of course, there is this texture need to be loaded into memory, and it didn't explode. And this was 4 years ago. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the other topic, offline capabilities. Okay. Well, offline capabilities are actually, well, I'm not going to say solved because there are a lot of browsers that are lacking this technology, but they are implementing it. So I think it can be completely solved by the end of this year, perhaps the next major release of Safari next year, I don't know. But at least Opera, Chrome for Android, Firefox for Android, Opera for mobile also have this technology I'm going to talk about implemented, and they are service workers. How many of you know about service workers? Well, there's a lot of people that, and that make me very happy. And then why so many of you have put the offline like a problem? Nope.
iOS.
Because of iOS. Okay. And what more?
Wasn't me.
Wasn't me. Okay. Because of iOS, you put the iOS. Okay. And every of you was talking about iOS. And then why were you asking? Well, I will try to answer the iOS part. We have AppCat, and AppCat was a standard, and it is still there. And okay, if you are aware about the caveats of AppCat, it's still working. And well, I don't know if they are implementing service workers or not, but from the public list in the specification forums and those kind of things, if you see the questions they are doing, it seems that they are doing something related to that. So I'm not sure if they are going to release service workers soon, but my personal bet is that they will be doing, perhaps if not this year, the next one. is the only thing I can say about offline capabilities. But the minimum, if you, for instance, if you look at the YouTube application, for instance, the native application, when you are out of connectivity, it only shows the Chrome, the Chrome of the application, and a message that say you don't have connectivity, and that's something perfectly possible from a app catch perspective, and it is harder, but for the pre-catch content, you could, if you are doing a single page application, you can rely on that. So you could be able to only catch the application, and then rely on. It is not very webby, but you could rely on all the machinery from your framework. It's not my recommendation, but it should work. More questions about offline? No? We can review the other topics because there are a lot of them. Okay. Okay. We are going to review the other topics. Seriously, there are no questions about offline, because I have a lot of posits with offline. Offline capabilities, and almost everybody of you knows about service worker. Do you know me to remind you something about service workers? Yes?
People want to know about them probably, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, service workers. Service workers are JavaScript programs, okay? Are JavaScript files. You say the browser that you want to somehow associate with your origin. The origin is the protocol, which must be HTTPS, the domain, and the port, okay? So these files are tied to the origin, not to the name worker. Perhaps make you think that they are tied to a client or to an open tab, but this is not true. The service worker is not tied to any web page specifically. It is tied only to an origin. So in case you are navigating from another context into a page controlled by a service worker, so the service worker is installed with one of these, following this life cycle, is installed, activated, and install and activated, and the next time the previous one will become redundant, and the next one will install and activate, and so on and so on. So when you are navigating, when you register a service worker, this is the first step. You register, then it is installed, then it is activated. When you register a service worker, you are doing it for a scope. And this scope means all the pages controlled by the service worker. So when a page in the scope is navigated to, when you navigate to that from Facebook, for instance, this service worker appears. If we are navigating to a page under the scope, or that page is requesting something from the internet, even if the browser is closed, of course, if we are requesting new resources, it won't be closed. But if we are navigating from another application, it can be closed. The service worker appears, the user agent delivers a fetch event to the service worker, and the service worker can answer to the client. Okay? They are called service worker because the service part is this. Even if the browser is closed, they can be activated. Okay? So they are like background services. And in the other hand, They are called worker because they behave like workers, so they are in a separated thread, for instance, and they are completely asynchronous. Okay, so with this, we can do something like, okay, when during installation, I can catch all the Chrome for my application, all the UI, the static UI, and once it's caught, then I can serve the UI from the service worker instead of the network, instead of using the network. To store this asset, I'm using something that is called offline catch. And the offline catch is like a key value database, but instead of generic keys and values, the keys are requests and the values are responses. So for the UI, I can do something like this. Suppose the CSS, when the page is requesting the CSS, the service worker is in the middle. The service worker gets the CSS from the network the first time, then serve it to the client, and at the same time, it stores the CSS inside a request response database or this offline catch. So the next time, instead of reaching the network, I can serve it more quickly from the database, and then go to the network to see if there is a newer version. Okay, that's one of the strategies we could do, but there are others. For instance, if you want to guarantee no any request will last more than, I don't know, 100 milliseconds, you can install a timeout, and you will be trying to get fresh content from the network. But if you are hitting the deadline, then you recover the contents from the offline catch and try to reach the network meanwhile and get but you are showing content in the first 100 milliseconds. Okay, that's another strategy.
Can you suggest any framework which could help to test them?
To test?
Yeah, because I think it's very browser specific. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, can you suggest any frameworks in NPM what could help to test server workers? Because as I understood, it's quite browser specific. Thanks.
Sorry? WebDriver. Okay. I didn't know WebDriver actually. I'm using an adapter I wrote myself for Karma. I can tweet it later, but I know that Google for its service worker SW toolbox is using another one, and I can look which one and tweet that. I don't remember the names right now. Can someone give him a mic, because I think it's an interesting addition.
Ready?
Sorry. Should I just talk to it? Okay. So basically, the version that you can get is a Chrome driver. This is basically what the Google is giving out for free. Is Selenium over C++, and it gives you the headless browser, and then you can do whatever you want, really. So while I'm here, I have a question for you. Can you, when you use an extension, can you persist those workers, or are they limited to origin where the extension is running?
Sorry?
When you're running extension in browser, are those workers limited only to the origin where the extension is running, when it's allowed to run?
It's not an extension.
No, I'm saying, can you use it from the extension in the browser? Yeah.
I don't know if they are allowed to be in the web extension. I suppose you are referring to this web extension new API. I don't know. I would.
I mean, like you have Chrome extension, right, or any other extension in browsers. So
I think no, because now it's only allowed in the HTTPS protocol. So, and I don't know. And actually, when we were developing Firefox OS, I remember we actually enabled this specifically. But I don't know if this was a change. I think it was a change focused on Firefox OS. And I remember an extension a friend of mine did to inject and to offline every application in Firefox OS. But I don't think any other browser did it. I can check. Actually, it's a very interesting question. I don't know how to compatibilize the word of the extension, the authority of the extension, and the authority of the web. I don't know. I know we did a hack. I don't know which hack in Firefox OS to enable this. I think what we did is that we provide the authority governing the extension. We provide it with some kind of, I don't remember if we make the authority the same as the web page, so the extension can access all the resources that the application can access, or we share only the service worker space. I don't remember.
So paraphrasing this a bit, let's say that we have a web worker in extension. Can this be running globally? This needs to be in the context. This is more of the like a particular question, not in general.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know. It's very interesting question, but I don't know. I can check. Okay. More question on offline. Service workers are not only used for this. They are also used, and there is a question about this, to perform push notifications. This is another functional event. Every event that wake up your service worker is called a functional event. Okay, and there are a lot of functional events. Here I am only putting 3 of them, but for instance, a message from a message from one client could wake your service worker up, or the new payment request is implementing this capability by using a functional event on a service worker. And there is a couple of more functional events related with push notification handling. I'm going to talk about them right now. So to handle push notification, what you need to do is, for the client, is to contact via, it's not a REST API, it's not a web API, it's a JavaScript API. But of course, this API needs a cloud infrastructure provided by the browser, okay? So the client page will ask, using get subscription, I think, will ask the push server for an endpoint, for a subscription, and this subscription will include an endpoint. And the endpoint is a URL, okay? And the client, once it gets the endpoint, it will send it to the web application server. And suddenly, even if your application is closed, perhaps you have something to say to that application. And then the application server can post to the endpoint, and then the combination between the user agent and the infrastructure will wake up your service worker, deliver the push notification, and your service worker can do anything you want. For instance, it can check if you have your application open. it can open a new client, or it can completely open a new instance of your application. And of course, it can show an actual UI push notification. Okay, this is something that is also done with service workers. And if you click, when you click the notification, there is another functional event dispatched to the service worker, which is notification click, to control that. You have push demos at the service worker cookbook, which is a compendium of recipes that allow you to see working examples of service workers. And there is another one, another last one, which is sync. And syncs allow you to realize when you are regaining connectivity. So, for instance, the typical example is that you are performing some analytics, but you are offline. Then all these analytics are stored until you regain connectivity. By that time, you can push them to the server. Okay. And these are the service worker capabilities. Actually, they are working on Opera, Firefox, and Android. And I don't know, but I think we can check. Yes, here. It is intended to be shipped. Yes, in I suppose age 16, because here is in a flag, is behind a flag. Okay. Okay. Let's play a game. Who of you could tell me what is an application? Not very technical. No, no one here? Okay. And then what is the difference between an application and a web application? Can you give him the mic, please?
You volunteered.
Oh yes, that's a bad move, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, so web application would run over the internet, I guess.
And the other are not in the internet.
You could just run on your computer.
Okay, more definitions. Wait.
Would you like to catch up?
You can pass them from one hand to another.
Web applications, you need browser to run, and mobile app, you don't need browser. It's like,
I like both of them. Yes, because there are pieces of software that let you do something. I am very comfortable with that definition. That is why for me there is no difference between a blog and Gmail. You know, both allow me to do something. One is consuming information, and the other one is managing my inboxes. For me, both of them allow me to do something useful. But I really like your definition, because for me, the difference between an application and a native application is something that can only be perceived by the way we were trained to interact with the web through a browser and those pieces of software in the mobile devices or even in desktop. This is a quote from a long quote from Alex Russell at the Progressive Web App Dev Summit in Amsterdam in the past year, talking precisely about this, that an application is, the definition of an application is not based on the technology. It is a matter of meeting user expectations. And when you are using a web application, you expect the browser. And when you are using a native application, you don't expect the browser, and that's all. For instance, what is the application here? What is the native application? It is clear.
The browser.
Isn't it? The browser. Perfect.
Yeah. The host environment.
What is the YouTube native application? Of course, it is the left one, because in the right one, which is native, is the browser, and YouTube is inside the browser. And actually, here in this example, what we are saying is that user expects from native applications, user expect to be able to work offline, but they don't expect for a web page to be seen offline.
Address bar.
Sorry?
The address bar as well.
The address bar.
Yeah, back button.
When you are browsing web page, when you are navigating between web pages, you are navigating tabs, and when you are navigating between applications, you are navigating these cards. And you can receive push notifications. We have talked about how to mitigate some of these problems. Let's play. What's the native app? In Twitter, what is the icon for the native app? How many of you think the native application is the left one? Okay, the right one is the right one. And now? The left one. The right one. One versus
sure.
one, really?
Not sure.
Okay, again, the left one. Okay, the right one. I'm very, very, very happy because it's the left one. Okay, it's the left one because I remember because I opened the second one for an event I did a couple of days before, and the left one is my personal account, so my personal account is in my native app, and the new one was in the browser to keep them separated. Okay, so the right one is the web application, and the left one is the native application. Now you can tell the difference. And this is the funny thing is that this picture is the same of this, the same, but scrolled 20 pixels, 60 pixels up. Okay. Okay. And now? Now you know the trick. But of course, the native application is this, because here you can see it's running inside nicely. Okay, so the funny thing about even about the things you have mentioned there is that it is not a matter of technology. It is a matter of fulfilling user expectation, and of course, performance is user expectation, and of course, reliability of in the network is user expectation also. And to close the gap between being displayed standalone, like here, or working offline, are the things we try to focus along mainly the past year, with the addition of service workers, push notification service worker, but in this proxy mode, service workers, and another technology that is called web application manifest. The web application manifest is a file, and you can communicate metadata about your web application to the operating system. And with that, you can do things like this. The web manifest is a file like this one. So notice, for instance, these 3 entries: display, theme color, and background color. Okay, these 3. And how they modify. You can enter Flipkart. It's flipkart.com, I think. And if you enter with a Chrome browser, you can see the complete effect of the manifest. You can enter now if you want. Actually, this is a trimmed part of the web manifest from Flipkart Lite. The display in the standalone, this one, makes the application to be displayed like this in a standalone mode with no Chrome UI. The theme color changes the theme of the browser, so it provides a more seamless user experience. And the combination between background color and icons provide this splash page. And what Flipkart does very well is to mimic the splash page with its own loading bar, circular loading bar around here. So you don't feel the change. There is no blank page like where you are loading a web page. This is this first experience followed by the actual experience from Flipkart. And you don't feel any space in between. Okay, so now you have failed recognizing the web application. Let's continue with more technologies. Okay. Questions? No? Okay. Authentication. We have something related to this. Right. Workers. SVG. Sync is done. Payment request. We already talked about manifest. Group storage. Offline first. Security. Yes.
Different browsers have different implementation of JavaScript.
Compatibility across browsers, graphic performance, centralized. Purple, different browser, different payment requests. Okay, we have 2 for them. The last one. Okay. Okay, payment, more performance.
Notification.
Manifest.
discoverability of web apps.
Rail, manifest, WebAssembly, WebVI.
These are self-serve.
Let's talk. Okay, let's talk about payments. Payment request. Hey. Okay, payment request is not working from the index, but is working. Here. Oh. Hey, what happened? Okay. First, web payment is not a payment method, okay? It is a way, it is a new, it's an improvement over the user experience to handle the payment instruments. That means, for instance, Bitcoins, and credit cards, or even time. You know, these sites that allow you to interchange your time for some tasks, and you use time as a money. You can do that if that is a payment instrument. Of course, this last example is an hypothetical one. This is the okay. This is the basic flow. What happens is that the client page called the merchant is able to perform a payment request. It's like saying, hey, the kind of UI I'm going to show or I want to show is for requesting a payment. So the user agent, the role of the user agent is to only communicate the proper parts of this request to every part in order to keep the user data private for him. Okay. So the first part is for the client page is to make this new payment request, and it say the method. Okay. For instance, not only paying, not only that they want to pay by card, but also the networks supported. Details, which is actually the list of items you are going to purchase. And options like the delivery option, the delivery address, for instance. Okay, and then the user agent will display you a series of trusted UIs. So these are UIs displayed by the browser. Okay, you don't need to show a form for the user to fill in. You only need to tell the user agent what do you want from the user. For instance, the delivery address, and the user agent will display the proper UI for these different contents, and it will display actually the list of items. There is one thing that is curious here, and you need to include the item and the amount of and the cost of the item, but the total is up to you. It is not doing anything. It's only displaying what you listed, and is requesting the information, the data, in a pleasant way. It's up to the browser. Actually, there are recommendations about how the different UI across the browser should behave, but there is not a standard. This is left to the different browser vendors. So it gathers all the information. Inside, this is covering some regular scenarios. For instance, if the price of the list of item changes when you select that you live inside the United States, outside the European Union, or in Spain, or these kind of things that probably modify the price of your shipment. It notifies the merchant, the client page. It notifies the client page where some of these details change, in order for the merchant to be able to update the details of the request. And when everything is done, then the payment should be done by the merchant and the payment processor, because this is not a payment processor. This can, for instance, one of the supported methods in Chrome is actually all the Chrome machinery, all the Android machinery for payments, and you will find an integration guide in this presentation on how to integrate the payment request with Android Wallet, I think it is, or Android Payments. I don't remember the name, but it is not. This is a communication that you must do separated from the API. The only thing that relates with the API is that you need to communicate the user agent that this payment has been done right or not. So you will receive, when all the information is entered, you will receive this event, this I think is a payment response, and yes, payment response, and you will need to call complete with a state. That the state is the answer for having this payment complete, right or not. And when it's right, you call complete with okay or done or something like that, and it's done. It is a new trusted UI. It's displayed to the user, letting him know that totally went okay. Well, are you interested in any other topic, or if not, we can finish here. Yes.
What's the microphone? Sorry.
Yeah. Isn't it possible for someone, like, especially within a mobile device, to, like a hacker, to be able to fake that browser page?
To hack? What?
Like a hacker to fake that, if they've compromised the site, and essentially do a man in the middle to fake the browser's payment page.
Okay. It is as possible as it is now, and actually, the thing is that the design of trusted UIs is a complete topic on itself, and it is intended to be. It is intended that you can, with no doubt, recognize a user agent formulary from an attacker one. As I said, this is as possible as it is right now, because, oh, what happened here? Because the user agent should try to appear, I don't know how to say. It is possible, but notice that it can be only fake if you control the client page. And if you have tempted the client page, you can probably do more harm doing other things. rather than gathering the. But it is possible.
But does it change the PCI compliance in any way, or is everything stays the same basically as it is
Sorry,
now?
I don't know who
The PCI
talking.
compliance, does it affect the PCI compliance at the moment?
Sorry.
The PCI compliance, like the requirement for when you're taking payments, you have to follow certain guidelines provided by the government regarding the payments and stuff like this. Does it change any of this? Are you actually taking some responsibility for this, or does it still basically is a part for the company that actually is taking payment, or the payment provider, or whoever?
But all the payment is not happening actually in the browser. It is happening.
You're not storing any data, anything like this. You're just presenting forms.
Yes, it's just presenting forms. Yes. It is. This is always compared with the autofill API, but it's more than an autofill, because you are communicating that you want to make a payment, and it is supposed that the browsers will implement the proper usual use cases for the different payment methods.
I think what's happening is there's just an intent from the side of the browser, which then can invoke native kind of payment functionality or that sort of thing. But it's basically just a communication of the intent.
Yes.
Aurelio will provide you with a microphone.
This kind of brings the question that is related but unrelated to your talk. At the moment, if you are caching the card information and for some reason this goes out, you are responsible, right?
I don't know. I don't know about the legality of this. Sorry, I don't know. Okay.
Do we have any other questions?
Okay, so thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Salvador. And as always, check our meetup page for our next event. There's still some pizza left, some beer that you can have, or feel free to hang around for a few minutes. Thank you, guys.